Poet, dearest acquaintances. I seek to employ you and your fellows as men of malicious deeds, lawbreakers, felons, ne'er-do-wells and such. Would it be accurate to state that your entourage falls within such a social group, and would be accepted as legitimate by its members?
Dearest employer, I am afraid to say, that if one were to consider such things on a purely semantical level, then unfortunately the esteemed members of such a social group would not include our particular group of like-minded chums, and thus, to your question, alas, 'tis not the case.
Well, although that might be the case, I still must know. Have you ever successfully employed a plot or a scheme to catch your ear-dowel, an upstanding gentleman, a pillar of support for the local community, or a costumed crime fighter associated with supernatural, but not religious in origin, capabilities?
Negative, good sir.
For the purposes of employment-related activities, or non-employment-related activities, have you ever attempted to shroud your true identity from the general populace by means of a garment or cosmetic substance commonly associated with a different section of the populace than the one that you are a part of?
Alas, potential employer, I can only reiterate, this is not the case, shameful as it may be.
You are in luck, however, as to my current knowledge the market for the members of the aforementioned social group is rather sparse on account of the actions of the fitness-based supernaturally gifted public servant not associated with any known religious sentiments. Hence, to implement my current dastardly scheme, it is in my best interest to educate you in my particular specialized field of knowledge, such that you would be capable of joining the now thrice mentioned social group of dastardly doers and such. The numeric value assigned to us to describe any numerable quality pertaining to the group I myself profess to belong to is that of the first element in the sequence of natural numbers, assuming the non-inclusivity of the number describing the smallest possible non-negative numerical value. I shall provide you with instructions describing the proper code of conduct when performing the aforementioned acts of mischief. Hence we might, amidst the performance of future instances of similar activities, become notable enough to appear in future publishments of literary works. Provided that gentlemen of this association desire to become outlaws of a certain numerical value, which traditionally has been used as a first numerical value for a student to memorize, in education of arithmetics. Your team will have to succeed in an act of capturing an aforementioned official of crime prevention, in such a way that the velocity of the official is much higher than the average walking speed of a human of average health. The numeric value assigned to us to describe any numerable quality pertaining to the group I myself profess to belong to is that of the first element in the sequence of natural numbers, assuming the non-inclusivity of the number describing the smallest possible non-negative numerical value. Now, as for this instruction, I would have you take note of and imitate the particular changes that I make to the position of the particle groups that form the different appendages of my physical form. The purpose of these eloquent and sophisticated accelerations of my currently attached limbs is to move akin to a shadow, in stealth and subterfuge. It would optimal if no vibrations from these were to be transmitted through the air, thus you must act with caution. The numeric value assigned to us to describe any numerable quality pertaining to the group I myself profess to belong to is that of the first element in the sequence of natural numbers, assuming the non-inclusivity of the number describing the smallest possible non-negative numerical value. I request you to rotate in such manner that your gaze is directed to a new piece of equipment whose location I have discovered. The object is a tool consisting of crossing arrangements of betwined thread, commonly used to prevent the large-scale maneuvers of the targeted entity. At some moment in the non-distant future I shall proclaim an instruction, which you should interpret to not directly convey the information it would in most context of usage. Upon hearing this word, the actual procedure intended is to accelerate the acquired Piscary device, and to consecutively release the manual grasp of the device. I now urge you to initiate displacement as described. While your performance in handling the game acquisition apparatus is generally resemblant of proper procedure, simply the target for this act is errantly elected. Hence I urge you to repeat the action, but targeted on a different individual. The numeric value assigned to us to describe any numerable quality pertaining to the group I myself profess to belong to, is that of the first element in the sequence of natural numbers. Assuming the non-inclusivity of the number describing the smallest possible non-negative numerical value. As for my next instruction, it requires using a combination of the light-detecting skills of your front-facing visual acumens along with the processing skills hopefully possessed by the visual cortex to record the sequence of actions I am about to take, then using other parts of the brain's physiology to analyze and effectively store the new information. Now that your party has been minimally briefed upon your role, I present to you the next scheme, which can be likened to a trading agreement with a commonly used metaphorical phrase in the assumed shared cultural background of all participants. The blue bedazzled man of mystery that we seek to capture shall have his backside thoroughly bruised and battered, rendering him in a super-snatchable state, as he steps without warning onto the hidden implement of his destruction. The outer skin of a common yellow fruit of extended length and slight curve that hails from the region of Southeast Asia. Though due to ripeness factors, the coloration might be slightly variable. As he places his crime-fighting cobbler directly onto the surface of my trap, he will find his footing suddenly unassured, and will suddenly lose control of his motion and move some amount of distance in a direction not of his choosing, thus causing a tantalizing tumble into the previously mentioned apprehendable apparition. The numeric value assigned to us to describe any numerable quality pertaining to the group I myself profess to belong to, is that of the first element in the sequence of natural numbers. Assuming the non-inclusivity of the number describing the smallest possible non-negative numerical value.